And today we are going to be talking about investment opportunities in the Kenyan agricultural sector. We are going to be having Kevin Kagwamba talk to us about investing in agriculture. So just a brief on Kelvin. He has 12 years experience in agribusiness as a manager and a consultant and an advisor for various companies and individuals. And as an agripreneur himself for several years, he brings hands-on experience in agribusiness management. He also has skills as a systems auditor and advisor in certifications and standards. He's currently working on a project in collaboration with Nyeri County government on upcycling organic waste from the market into profitable compost for farmers. Yes, and he is also a CSR manager for a flower farm at the moment. So asante sana, Kevin. Feel free, as always, feel free to shoot the questions. We shall answer them at the end of the training. And I hope we learn. Asanteni.
Right, thank you very much, Rose, for that wonderful introduction. I almost never believed that that was me, but that is basically me. And so the Kenyan agricultural sector is one of the sectors that is growing at a very fast pace and has been growing for quite some time. Last year, we saw around 170 billion into the economy from the flour industry. Alone, the food industry contributed about 130 billion Kenya shillings. So that just tells you the magnitude of the industry that we are going to be discussing today. And I know we are all ready to delve into this topic and to invest. You know, it can be our cash cow, so to say. So karibuni sana. So just basically go into it. So what is coming out in the agricultural sector right now? The trends and you know what is happening in the country and in the world right now is that people have become more conscious about soil health. So we start finding companies that are doing soil testing. There are people that are very involved in fertilizer, you know, manufacturing, and you know, just making sure that whatever we are putting into our soils is healthy enough for our crops and also for us as consumers of the products that are coming out from, you know, from the soil. Again, it's all about sustainability. We want to keep growing in the next 50, 100 years. So soil health has become a major issue in agri production right now. Water conservation. Anytime I'm given an opportunity to speak, I usually say that water is one of the things that is going to be fought for. If not in Kenya, then in Africa. In the next 100 years, we are not going to fight about gold and silver. We're going to fight about water. We've seen it start. We've seen the issues surrounding water in the Laikipia region with the ranchers and the herders. So we know it's going to be emotive even going further. And then bearing in mind that agriculture, you know, basically is about water. And every crop is about 70% water. So we have to be very careful on how we're using our water. The next issue that has come out very clearly in the last few years is precision farming. This is whereby you want to apply nutrients, you want to apply you know, products to your crops direct to the crop, that is measured. If it's water, you want precise. If it's a liter of water for production, that is exactly what you want to give your plant. So we are seeing a lot of innovation into precision farming. GPRS has been used even in scouting. So right now, in many farms, what people are doing is, instead of walking around with a notebook saying, I've seen this pest and this disease, and they usually use an application that later comes up with a spray program and just advises you. And this is going to be improving even as we go on. The other issue is about innovation in improvement of the crops, gene mutation stuff that we in Kenya has become very emotive, even in parliament, that we've not been able to pass a bill on genetic modified products. And that is going to hurt us if we don't get into that technology right now, because it is predicted that by 2050 the world's population will be at 12 billion. Right now we are 7 billion. So you would imagine probably an additional 5 billion people being fed by the same resources. So we need to modify what we are growing. We need to make it more resilient to droughts, make it more resilient to diseases, because trust you me, there'll be more diseases and pests that are going to affect our crops in the coming years. That's where integrated pest and disease management comes in, so that we are not just looking at conventional methods of disease management. We are looking at all aspects of growing, from where we are growing and how we are growing it, and the time of application of pesticides and fertilizers, everything encompassed. What can we use as a natural predator for pests? What can we use as natural, uh, what do I say? What can we use as a natural solution for a disease? So that is going to be more emphasized in the coming days, in the coming years. We've seen so many people right now getting into organic farming, and it's become the in thing. So that organic food right now is prime food. If you go to any market, you'll find that if it's labeled organic, it's very expensive. It cannot be, it's sometimes not even affordable. And then the last issue in emerging trends is small farm profitability. People are going into small farms, vertical farms. They're doing kitchen gardens that become commercial, not just for food production in the house. They want to do it commercially. So we've seen people, if you look around Kiambu area and the urban areas, basically most people are going into urban farming, and has become an in thing, and it's making money for a lot of people. In more advanced civilizations, if I would use that word, is you find that people are growing their own crops on buildings. They're using buildings as their farms. So you find a whole balcony has become a farm for a family. And that is going to be more emphasized in Kenya in the coming days. We are lucky right now because we still have land that people can use, to farm, and we still have untapped land in the whole of Kenya. It is estimated that about 45% of Kenya is arable. We are only utilizing about 13% of that arable land. So we still have way long to go to maximize on the land that is available for farming. So on land, how do you get land? Where do you farm? How do you acquire that land for investment? One of the things that you can do is inherit. Simple. Get your parents to give you a piece of land. We've seen that happen in areas where there were large pieces of land. However, it's becoming more prohibiting because land sizes have become smaller and smaller and smaller. So people have resulted into purchasing land. If you have some money, there's always land somewhere for purchase. You have to know where you want to purchase your land. You have to know what you want to grow and what you want to do with that purchased land. The other thing is you can get into partnerships with people who have land but do not have resources or investments. They don't have the resources to do the farming. So get into a partnership. You don't have to purchase that land. So get into a partnership with somebody who has land and do some business. You can lease land from someone. You can just do a lease agreement, probably for 5 years or 10 years that you'll be using his land. It's happening a lot in Narok. I know various people who don't own land but have large tracts of land, 200 acres, 1,000 acres, leased for 5 years. And it's an easy way to own land for farming. There's also a new method that is coming up, the renting land. So what happens in this is you find land that is fully developed. Probably there is a greenhouse, there are irrigation equipment and everything. So you agree with the owner that because you're not planting or you're not planning to do anything with that land for the next 6 months, then you're going to be renting that piece of land for a season. So you have, it's not really like a lease, because the lease gives you leeway on how to use the land. Renting, you're limited on how you're going to and what you're going to grow on that piece of land. Final is vertical gardens. So you don't have money, you've not inherited, you've not purchased, you've not leased. Make your own land, make a vertical garden wherever you are. There are various models that are happening right now. The Ministry of Agriculture right now has a project on vegetable farms. They want people and vulnerable families basically to raise food for their families. So they're encouraging vertical gardens. If you have no idea what is a vertical garden, I would encourage you to visit MOA on Wednesdays. They usually have an open day just for people to learn on small farm and vegetable garden farming. So what drives us? What should drive us to invest in agriculture? Why and how do we invest in agriculture? So initially, our forefathers used to have used to grow coffee, used to grow tea on agreements with the government, like the Kenya Tea Development Agency. Then there was the defunct Coffee Board of Kenya. There was the Pyrethrum Board of Kenya. There was the Cotton Board of Kenya. All those, and that usually gave them motivation because there was already market for their tea, for their coffee. So it gave them motivation for them to get into farming. Right now we are getting into market-driven production. So you look at what is happening in the market and you decide, I'm going to do tomatoes, I'm going to do onions, because there's going to be a deficit of onions in the market for in the next 2 months. Or mango farming or avocado farming is what is bringing in money. So you get a plantation of avocados, and that is what most people are right now doing. A more profitable way is contract farming, whereby you get the market, or you get the buyer to assure you that they are going to buy from you whatever you're going to farm. So be it vegetable, be it milk, be it pork, you have a contract with the buyer that says that I'm going to be producing this amount of meat. I'm going to be producing this amount of vegetables, these kilos of potatoes in the next 3 months, and you're going to take it at this amount of money. So as you do your investment, you have a target, and you know how to keep your books balanced so that at the end of the contract, you're also making money. There are products that have regulations, both national and regional. There are products that you cannot just grow anywhere. For example, if I wanted to do sugarcane farming, I would probably not establish a sugarcane farm in Kiambu, because I don't have a sugarcane factory in Kiambu. So I would go for sugarcane farming where there's a factory where it can be processed. Such factories are established by national and regional governments, and they are given concessions on manufacturing of those products. Again, look at coffee and tea. You cannot do it just anywhere. You have to do it where there's the market, where there's a factory. Those factories were usually like tea. They are established by KTDA. They are governed and by KTDA. So you have to look at what product you're doing and where you want to do it. Then there are cultural and social norms in the society that also drive us to invest in agriculture. Uh, Somehow, I don't know, but I don't know if it's cliche, but if you mention a Meru by name, they will know you as a Mera farmer. So, and that's just, a cultural way of referring to Mera. It does not mean that Mera is just grown in Meru. There is Mera being grown in Athi River. There is Mera being grown in Nakuru. But we only know that Meru people, or the Meru region, is the one that produces Mera. If I was to talk about fish, probably people from the lakeside think, or people basically assume that people from the lakeside are the only ones who are growing fish, are the fish farmers, they are the fishermen and stuff like that. So, but that is changing. So we have more fish farms right now in Nyeri than in Kisumu, because it is becoming, people are breaking those cultural and social norms in the society. So where should we invest? Where is the money? If I may ask, in this industry, it's a very large industry. If we talk of agriculture, we are talking of floriculture, we are talking of food, we are talking of vegetables, we are talking of livestock, we are talking of fishing and stuff like that. So where is the money? Number one is in the export market. The export market right now has been affected by COVID, but it's been doing very well in the last couple of years. We've had growth in the floriculture industry. There are so many farms right now in Naivasha that are shipping direct to Europe. There are so many farms in the Timau region. The farms have grown into the Molo region, Athi River region. And so there's a lot that is happening in the floriculture world that is now making the economy so robust. It's giving us money, if I may say that. There's also the horticultural market for food crops, like passion fruits, like avocados, like snow peas, baby corn, baby carrots. all those vegetables that are being exported, including chilies, including cherry tomatoes. So there's so much that we can exploit within the export market. You only need to know the restrictions and the standards to comply to whichever market that you are selling to. Then we also have the local market, which is also very big. We have not been able to satisfy the local market to a point that every year we are importing from Tanzania mainly. A lot of onions, a lot of tomatoes are coming from Tanzania, and Kenyan farmers are always complaining that the Tanzanian onions and tomatoes have flooded the market and the prices have gone down. But the truth is we have not been able to satisfy the local market. So you can do vegetables, both traditional and exotic vegetables. Vegetables would mean cabbage, sukuma wiki, spinach. You can do tomatoes. You can do onions. You can do mchicha. There's a family in the US. It was in the social media a few days ago. There's a family in the US that is doing very well in traditional vegetables, even in the US. So that's an opportunity right there. There are potatoes. Potatoes are the staple food in Kenya, and I would say actually in the world. Potatoes play a large role. So there's a huge opportunity for potato farming. And right now people are getting into contract farming for potatoes. So that's a big opportunity right there. It takes 90 days for a potato to grow from from zero days to maturity. So 90 days is 3 months. That's quite a short time. Spices and herbs that are doing well. Fruits, and then there's oils and fragrances. So in oils and fragrances, I'm talking about oils like canola. Um, it's an untapped industry. Fragrances, there are people doing I think myrrh in Garissa. That's also untapped. So that's an opportunity right there. Then we get to the livestock industry. So we have the dairy industry, then the beef industry. I don't know if I have to, I want to elaborate further. So, and then shoats, is short for sheep and goats. So these are very big industry that people have never realized on sheep meat and on goat meat. So that's an opportunity right there. Then small animals, those are like rabbits. You can do guinea pigs. You can breed pets. There are people who are doing dog breeding as a business. So, and they don't take a lot of space. So that's also a big thing that is happening right now in Kenya. There are people who are doing pig farming. Doesn't take a lot of space, and there is a lot of upcycling and recycling in the pig industry. So nothing goes to waste. And then there is poultry. Uh, in poultry, these are a huge opportunity in ornamental birds. I've seen people now going into ornamental birds, pets. You want to do pigeons, you want to do peacocks. I visited several ostrich farms. So and those are opportunities that probably people don't realize that they're making money. Then there's apiculture, that is bee farming, and aquaculture, fish farming. There is also making money. As I just told you, there are more fish farms right now in Nyeri County than in Siaya County. I can tell you that for sure because I've done several comparisons. One of the main reasons is because the lake is always there. So the fish farms have not been there. So people have been very keen on starting fish farming within the Nyeri County. I think it's a new thing. It's making money for them, and there's also the alternative sources of protein, and people are embracing fish farming and fish eating even in the slopes. And you can also do grains and pulses. Grains is maize, wheat, oats. Wheat and oats you can do under contract farming. There are big companies that usually contract farmers within the Narok region and the Timau region mainly. Then there is sorghum, which is also a big thing in Tharaka Nithi. Sorghum is because EABL is turning to sorghum rather than using barley as a source of alcohol. And then there are pulses like beans, peas. There are nuts that you can do. These so many crops that usually we have not tapped into. There is a crop called stevia that is doing very well in the Rift Valley and also in the Nyanza region. So you can also look into that if you have a farm or you can access land within those regions. Then tea, coffee, nuts, and tobacco. Tobacco, I put it there because people tend to think of tobacco as a drug, but it's also a very nice crop to farm within your farm. It does not take sorry so it does not take a lot to grow tobacco, and it's one of the crops that has very high returns. A kilo of dried leaf is about 700 shillings. And a kilo of dried leaf is gotten from 5 kilos of wet leaf. So you can just imagine just the opportunity that is in that business. Then miraa farming. Let's not stereotype that miraa is basically Meru. It's a good cash crop. I've been in a farm where I saw a guy make 10,000 shillings within an hour just from miraa, harvesting miraa, and he doesn't have to do it. So people come in and harvest and give him money. So that's one of the opportunities that you can do right there, and you don't need a very big piece of land because basically miraa is a tree. So I've seen there's a miraa farm in Athi River. It was actually a flower farm that was turned into a miraa farm, and I see that farm, as an example of how people can cash in on opportunities, because Athi River is some few minutes to the airport. The guys in Meru have to drive crazy speeds from Meru to get to Nairobi just to ship their miraa to the market. So just look at those parameters and see which industry. So where do we get high returns on investment? I've been to Malindi at a watermelon farm and seen how easy it is to make $1 million from an acre of watermelons. It can also be a very risky business when you get it wrong on the seasons. So we are guaranteeing the high returns if you get everything else right. Then we have Kibwezi. Kibwezi does very well with fruits, French beans, Indian vegetables like Karela and chilies and stuff like that. Then there's an area called Tot in Marakwet that you can do fruits and vegetables. come out very well. The weather is very conducive for fruits. Then there's Oloitoktok. Oloitoktok is known for onions and tomatoes. Then we have Narok. Narok, most people know wheat. So you can do wheat and potatoes actually in Narok. Amazingly, any area that is doing very well on wheat can also do very well on potatoes. So just to mention. Then we have Njoro in the Molo region, which has a lot of vegetables. And Kagio in Kirinyaga County, you can do tomatoes and rice, very conducive weather. So in Kagio, 72 days is enough for you from planting to harvesting tomatoes. Then there's a Kiawara area in Nyeri County. Onions and garlic, originate from there basically. Then the Rumruti area in Laikipia County is very good with tomatoes. Then, as we know, Kitale is maize, wheat, and dairy farming. Then there's a Timau region. You can do wheat, you can do plantation of canola. Canola makes very nice oil, edible oils, vegetable oils. Then potatoes. Nyahururu area, you can do potatoes and maize. Kiambu, dairy farming and poultry, as we know, and the small farms. Then for apiculture, that is bee farming, there is a Kitui and Mogotio region. The reason I put Kitui, you don't have to do the farming there. You don't have to have beehives there. You can do, you can develop your own product. You can do candles from the beeswax. You can upgrade their honey. You can, there is so much opportunity that is coming up from the agriculture industry that you don't have to, it's not only about growing. It can also be about, value addition on your produce. So what we are offering, or rather what I offer, is a professionally run agricultural enterprise that encompasses the whole product value chain, from growing to agronomy to the market, and to product specialization if you want advisory and consultancy services on any area, on agronomy, and even human capital within the farm. I've seen many people fail because they employed the wrong person for the right job, or they employ the right person for the wrong job. If you employ a manager with no agronomic aspects as an agronomist, then you're bound to fail. Then we also assist in certification and standards. So most of these markets, mainly the international markets, have certain standards that we have to follow through and to conform to. So personally, I've done a course in certification and standards so that we can enable you to be sustainable. We want you to be able to farm even in the next 100 years. Your children and your children's children, as they say, can continue farming. Then we will connect you to markets, both local and international, and assist you in value addition of your crops. And then we will also assist you in agricultural mechanization and automation. There are systems that sometimes you want to automate, like milking machines and sorting machines if it's in fruit business. So we will assist you get to that point. So Rose, I think I've talked too much. So I would welcome, reactions.
Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for taking us through that well-detailed presentation. I think I have a few questions on my own. If you don't mind talking about contract farming, basically how you can get into contract farming, what crops have the highest returns at the moment as well, maybe perhaps, and what regions have the highest returns.
So so just to stop sharing that. Okay, just to answer your question on contract farming, how do you get into it? First of all, you have to know who you're getting into a contract with. There are companies that have failed farmers. There are companies that have lifted farmers. So in contract farming, the first thing is that you have to make sure you have an assured market. Number two, you have to make sure that the agreement is solid tight. If it involves going to a lawyer to do the contract, please do. Don't just accept a contract on face value. Get all the details, because I've seen people failing because their crop was picked from the farm, but the grade out rate was so high. So in actual sense, they didn't get anything at the end of it. On the question on what crop has the highest return on investment, that's a committal question. I don't want to commit, but I know there are crops that are high value right now. Don't do tomatoes and onions because everybody is doing it. Number two, whatever crop you choose to do, be consistent, such that every month or every week you have a harvest that is ongoing. That is how you get a high return on investment. How farmers usually fail because you have a crop for a season and you're not able to continue selling when the crop is out of season. So draw a proper planting program. That is what we can help you do. Come up with a proper planting program that you can be able to sell when the crop is in season and when the crop is out of season. The third question was?
The region.
The regions.
Yeah.
The regions. I will lie to you if I tell you there is a particular region for any crop. Reason is, I have seen maize do well in Malindi as well as in Kitale. I've seen fruits do well in Kibwezi. I have seen fruits do well in Kitale, which is fairly cold. Okay. So we can only advise on the region once we get, and actually it's not the region, it's the type of soil that you're growing into. So if you want to do tea, you cannot do tea on black cotton soil. You have to do tea on red volcanic soil that is acidic. That's just the basic, you know. So that's basically, so once we test the soil, then we can be able to advise this is a crop for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a question. Could you talk about collaboration? Could you talk about collaboration for market access? Also, I think you can answer that one and then I can continue with the other one.
Okay. So collaboration for market access. So what happens is whenever you have a product, most farmers are not able to get into the market. So they end up in the hands of brokers who either, they'll just give you just a road deal. So market collaboration happens like this. You have a list of all the markets that are in Kenya and what is in season. So I know what I can sell in Mombasa right now. I know what I can sell in Nakuru right now. I know what I need to send to Kisumu. I know where the profits are, and where, just basically you have to know where the market is for whatever you're selling. If we all come to Nairobi, what that does is we crowd Nairobi with we will cloud Nairobi with tomatoes, and the price of tomatoes will go down. And then the whole Kenya will be saying that the price of tomatoes is down. But we all know a few months ago, I think it was in March, just after COVID happened, the price of one tomato was like the price of one apple. So it's basically, it's possible to get that price day in, day out, if we know which market that we are selling into.
Okay. All right. I'll get back to your question, Monene, but let me deal with another one here. Thank you, Kevin, for a great presentation. What agricultural profitable venture can I invest that doesn't require my presence?
That doesn't require your presence. Yes. Good question there. So in presence, can you elaborate what you mean? Because in presence means that you're committed or you're not committed to the venture. In presence, probably in this case, I would think is physical presence.
I would think so too.
Yeah, physical presence, and that is what I'm saying. Vasili is going to be offering, that we are able to manage for you remotely wherever you are, because in actual sense you cannot manage any investment particularly in calls, in farming. You have to be there. Am I back?
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you.
Mm.
So I've seen another one from Matthews. How do we contact you, and what your rates for startups? So Matthew, please contact Vasili. At the end of the slide, I've put Vasili's contacts, and I can get back to you. Is that right, Rose?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We shall share his contacts as well, his email, so you can contact him also directly if you need, yes, a personal touch. Right. From Shonia, there is a question. What is it about organic farming and that makes the produce very pricey?
Interesting. So, Shonia, thanks for your question. Organic farming is one pricey because it's expensive to grow organically. It's not easy. It's not about saying, I've not put fertilizer, I've not put chemicals onto my product. So organic farming basically means you've not put fertilizer, but you have put compost that is safe for both the crop and the consumer. And that is pricey, because you have to, the same compost has to be pre-treated, has to be, sanitized and stuff like that. So, and then the fact that that product is chemical free, that product is a prime product, makes it very, very pricey. I know there's a group in Kiambu that is doing organic strawberry, and they are selling very well. But they are not using a lot of space to do it. Actually, they use vertical farms. So Shonia, that can be a very good idea for you, and that it will sell. I can assure you that you will be happy with organic farming.
All right. There's a question also from Lillian. I don't know, Shonia, whether you've been answered, but before we continue with Lillian's question, please repeat what you said about the presence. You dropped a bit.
Okay, what I said about being present is that sometimes you must be there for any investment. Whether you're putting your money in the bank, you have to follow through. You know, whether it's Vasili putting your money in stock market, and you know, where do you put people's money?
Anywhere that they are interested actually in investing, but mostly we try look at what the investor wants, what their risk appetite is, and then we advise now from there. So from money markets to stocks to to real estate, yes.
Interesting. So, but you also physically manage their investments. Like somebody has entrusted you to physically manage their investment so that their investment is not lost.
Yes.
So for any investment, that's Rhoda. So for any investment, if you're not physically present, it is bound to fail, because one, it will show like you're not committed. There are crops that don't need you to be physically present, like wheat, maize plantation. But once in a while, if you during planting, during chemical application, during harvesting, you have to be physically present. So that's why that was what I was saying about physical presence. You cannot be in farming without farming.
I think you cannot alienate yourself from it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah. You have to be there.
Totally.
Yes.
If you cannot be there, that's why that's why we are here.
Yes. All right. Let me go back to
Lillian.
Hi, thank you for the wonderful presentation, Kelvin. For the region of Nyanza, Muhoroni, and Chemili, where sugarcane used to be the cash crop, what other alternatives to sugarcane? Because the factories aren't paying well. The soil in that area is black cotton soil, if I'm not wrong.
So thanks, Lillian, for that question. Good question, and particularly that you have quoted that the soil in the area is black cotton soil. So in that region, you can do maize. In that region, you can also do cotton. If the ginneries are still working, you can do cotton. And I know the ginneries in Eldoret have started working. So cotton is going to be a major cash crop in the Muhoroni area and the Chameli region, because it's quite close. It's about is it 100 or 90 kilometers to Eldoret. So cotton can do well, maize can do well, sorghum, millet can do very well in those areas.
I don't know. Onions, where do they do well?
Onion farming. Onion does well in shallow but well-drained soil. Okay. So it will do very well. It will do very well in the Oloitoktok region, because there is an alluvial soil there from the Kilimanjaro slope, and then it does very well in the Nyandarua region on the eastern side of the Nyandarua ranges, because there is a lot of soil drainage that is coming down from the ranges on this other side, rather than on the western side, where more people are into potatoes, because it's quite cold in the western side. But the eastern side, because I think of the issue with the sun and the well-drained soil within the Kiawara region, and there's a place called Jikaze. Onion is doing very well. Onion and garlic also does very well in the Tanzanian side of the Kilimanjaro.
Okay. So it's more like volcanic soil.
Yeah.
Okay. Munene, I'll still get back to your question, but there's a question here. Indeed, absence means having, it's from Matthews. Indeed, absence means having good managers, investing money and agree in returns. What considerations, though, should one make when giving resources, that is money, for farming ventures? I'm looking to adapt a farmer scheme.
To adopt a farmer scheme. Can you elaborate on the farmer scheme, Matthews, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
In the meantime, what is your opinion on tree farming?
Interesting. Tree farming is one of those things that I will not call farming. It's afforestation. That's afforestation. You can do it for money, but if you want good return on investment, please do crops that you can harvest and see their product, something that you can see the whole value chain. For tree farming, I know there are people do it as a pastime. Do it when you cannot do anything else, when you don't want your land to stay idle. I've seen a person invest in trees in a 5-acre piece of land, and he had been promised that after 5 years he's going to get very good returns. After 5 years, the trees were still very small. After 10 years, he harvested 20% of what he expected. So I would not advise anybody to get into tree farming as a business. Do it when you don't want your land to go to waste.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think Matthews is back. Matthew, if you can unmute yourself.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, basically what I'm trying to allude to is the fact that someone could actually invest money in any of the ventures that he's talked about, and then it's up to the organizing or the person running with the project to be able to use this money and identify given farmers. So based on the spectrum of farmers that you have, then I'm able to invest, let's say if it is in onion business, or let's say if it is in dairy farming, and then towards the end of maybe the given cycle, then you are given some payback out of the investment that you put in. Basically, that's what I mean with adopt a farmer.
Okay. All right.
It's a very nice idea. That's a very nice idea, Matthews.
It's a very nice idea. I think as well, it has its risks. So you have to evaluate all the risks, because you're putting different people together. Basically, if I understand you, Matthews, you're putting different people together so that you can invest in different crops or different places of farming, and then you promise a return. However, you cannot promise a return, like a very high return, given the way the market works, because you're not really assured of the output after the market and the output after harvesting, yeah, unless of course you're assured. And we've seen a few, if I may say, yeah, there has been such schemes before. I don't know how they are working. I don't know how they're performing at the moment. Maybe Kevin can tell us. He's the expert in them in agriculture.
For schemes, farmer schemes, They work, but they don't work long term. They work for short-term crops. So if you're looking at doing short-term vegetables, that would work very, very, very well for such schemes. And you can be able to adopt, a farmer, and you can be able to adopt a farmer scheme or even a village and do short-term vegetables. By short-term, I mean 3 to 4 months, and you're out of there. Reason is people tend to get attached. And sometimes the market decides otherwise. So you once gave a price of, so much for this produce, and then the market collapses. The next season, you're not able to do the same. So they will say that you are the bad person.
Okay.
So as Rose says, let's look at also the risk involved. But I would say do short-term vegetables for farmer schemes, and even the contract farming. Contract farming, don't do it for more than 1 year. Have a contract that you can renew annually, because the costs for farming are increasing, year on year. So have a contract that you can be able to review and renew annually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me go back to Monene's question. There is technology that has been helping farmers in farm management systems. At what point in a farmer's capacity would one consider employing such technology, even for market access?
Interesting. Yes, there's a lot of technology that is happening right now. There are a lot of apps, applications basically, that are connecting farmers to the market. However, I would use Ian Bogo's word. However, please let's be very careful, even as we look at applications, because they can be looking at one side of the market, and not looking at product diversification. Probably, you don't have to sell tomatoes as the fruit. You can improve it to tomato chutney, or you can improve it to tomato sauce or jam or something. So when the application is looking at the market, it's looking at only one side of the market. Is there, questions like, do I have to sell onions when they are bulbs? Can I cut them and dry them and sell them 2 years after I've harvested them? So technology is there, and she's helping farmers at that point of harvest, at that point of getting to the market. But let's not rely on them. Let's also do our own investigations. Where is the market? As I've told you, you'll find a kilo of onion in Nairobi going for 100 shillings, and in Mombasa going for 50 shillings. So will you sell your onions in Mombasa or in Nairobi?
Okay.
You're in Kimana, you're in Loitoktok, you're nearer Mombasa than in Nairobi. So you'll find a way of getting your onion to Nairobi. Yeah.
All right. There's, I don't know, maybe in addition to that, I just found out that coffee as a product, there's coffee, the beans that you can roast for coffee.
Yeah.
There is coffee that is sold, green coffee that is not roasted. And you can actually make wine coffee. Something that can be done. So a lot of products have, like chicken is eaten, the broiler chickens are eaten, like the whole of it from head to the legs. Yeah. So yes, there's a lot in farming.
Yeah, there's a lot in farming, and there's a lot in value addition. Let's look at value addition, as as a topic on itself, because if we start on value addition, I can tell you for sure there should be no market waste in any market in Kenya. Yes.
All right. All right. Shonia has a question. Would you recommend outdoor hubs or indoor, e.g. greenhouse?
Shonia, depends again on where you're growing, but outdoor crops tend to be more flavorful because of the ultraviolet rays of the sun just getting onto the leaves, and respiration. I don't want to go very deep into agronomy, but respiration happens naturally when it's in outdoors. So you'll get, if it's herbs, you'll get the right flavor, you'll get the right smell.
All right. I don't know whether there are any further questions. Kevin, if you don't mind typing your contacts, your email address, so that people can get in touch.
Okay.
We shall share the presentation at the end of the day. If you haven't shared your email address, kindly do so that we can share the whole presentation with you. As well, it will be on YouTube, so you can share the link with your friends who might be interested. We will be doing this weekly for the next 1 month, and then after September, we start doing bi-monthly training. And we've been having a few others in the past, so kindly check the YouTube channel, subscribe. Yes, Shonia, you can subscribe for the trainings. Let me share the link. But I need to take tea. Yes, we shall share the links as well on email. So if you haven't sent your email address, you can send it to the email, which is info@Vasili. Let me just share it. Yes, right there, info@vasiliafrica.com. Send us your email address. We add you to the mailing list so that we can be sending the calendar as well in advance. You can subscribe to the trainings. Yes. I don't know whether we have any further questions.
Thank you.
If not, asanteni sana for joining us today. Same time next week. We shall be, yes.
I can see Joseph has unmuted to ask something, and I saw him smile when you said you saw. So let's just.
I'm just excited. This has been very good. I hope you will be having more of these seminars so that we are able to learn new techniques in agriculture and also farming. Thank you very much.
For sure. Thank you so much. I think, Kevin, we shall have you back on the value additions at some point.
No problem.
All right.
Okay.
Asanteni sana. I can see your email addresses. We shall share the same. Thank you so much. Yes.
Very good. Thank you, and have a good day, everyone.
All right. Thank you.